Continuing on with 7, 8, and 9 from 14.4. Again, the hard part of these problems is going to be deciphering the reading and coming up with the equation. Hopefully the solving won't be too bad for you using the quadratic formula or a graphing tool like Desmos. So number 7 talks about an airplane that can go 170 miles per hour in still air. And then here we put for a tailwind, we add the wind speed on. Okay, so X is standing for the wind speed. All right. I don't know if I need to put that down. We can probably remember that X equals wind mph. All right. So it covers a distance of 700 miles with the tailwind and 700 miles with the headwind. Now, going into a headwind, if you look at this time column right here, all right, here's the time that represents the headwind. That's going to take longer than going with a tailwind. And so we have the headwind is more than the tailwind by 2 hours. Okay? And we do more minus less equals difference. So for this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph this for y1, and I'm going to graph this for y2 in Desmos. And once I get my window adjusted right, what I'll see is I will see a line come across horizontally at 2, which if there's 4, so 2 is maybe roughly right here. So I'll get a horizontal line come across here at y equals 2. And then graphing this piece, what I'll see is I'll kind of see the shape of a parabola coming up here. And what's going to happen is trying to get this in the right area here. It's going to cross at about right here. Okay, just a rough. So this is going to come and cross around in here. Okay, the rough estimates here drawn on the whiteboard quickly. But this intersection right here actually is not an integer. It comes out to be 39.1022. And this right here represents the wind speed, okay, the X value. So if they ask what is the wind speed, then we would want to write down 39.102. So if they ask us what's the speed going there or into the tailwind, with the tailwind, we'd add the 39.102 there, and if we wanted to find the headwind speed, we'd have to subtract 39.102. Okay, and just make sure you round to the appropriate decimal space. Okay. The next one is another rate, time, and distance one, and it talks about on the way there to someplace that's 300 miles away, the speed is faster than on the way back. And so we have a slower speed, so we subtract 6 because the problem says 6 miles per hour slower. Again, we make this column right here by taking the distance divided by the rate. Okay? And then this problem goes on to say that a total time, so this is time plus time equals total time, has a total time of 9 hours. Now what we can do here, and I just want to vary the way we solve these, is we could use a technique we learned in a previous chapter, and we could multiply this by x minus 6, this by x minus 6, and this by x minus 6. And what happens is once we manipulate this and do all our algebra, we can eventually get down to this quadratic that's in standard form. Okay. Now, if you can work your way down to that, Then we can use the quadratic formula or a quadratic formula solver on the internet. And we eventually get to kind of some ugly work here, but if you're using the internet and a calculator, it shouldn't be too bad. But what we end up finding out, we rule out this negative solution because, you know, we're working with a positive speed, and we find out that x is equal or approximately 69.8. Okay. Now we've seen these job problems before, and this problem says that company A takes 10 hours longer than company B, but if the two companies work together, it takes them 19 hours. So this is the time to do the job. This is the part done in 1 hour, and then this signifies the equation working together. Okay? And so if we put this into Desmos, letting this be y1 and this be y2, I'm going to have to mess around with my window again, but what's going to happen here is I'm going to get a line coming across here that's going to signify the y equals 1/19th line. Okay? And then for this right here, what I'm going to see is a kind of a curve come down like this, and come from here, and when I click on this spot right here, I'm going to find out that I get 33.647 and 0.0526. Now those are approximates. This is the y value, and then this x value stands for company B. Okay, company B. Hours to complete the job. So remember, this is your x value. You can click right here to find the intersection. Okay, so just some different ways to solve. This would not have been factorable. This would not have been factorable, and this would not have been factorable because of these decimal answers here. So quadratic formula or graphing.